Hello, and welcome to the Don't You Know I'm Loco podcast. We are three cousins looking to break generational curses by sharing our mental health and healing journeys. Join me, Candy,
Lisa.
and
Rene.
as we talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode.
Hi.
We're still in December here, but you guys are watching this in January.
Yeah.
So.
It's the second week of January, I believe,
Oh
right?
my god, crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So today we're gonna be talking about toxic relationships, and we know that a lot of
We are
us
all
have been
guilty of that.
in toxic relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides. The toxic
Yeah. Oh,
one
for sure.
and the,
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Yeah. Same.
I can admit it.
But first let's start off with challenges. Do you guys have any challenges you guys want to start off with?
I went first last time, so I'm not going to go first.
I'll go
You go
first.
first.
Thanks for volunteering me, Rene. So I've noticed that I've been struggling for some time now, and I was like, what's going on with me? And even my husband was like, what is going on with you? Like, you've been like losing things, like you have an attitude for no reason, like what's going on? And I finally realized last night and today that I feel like it's like seasonal depression, like holiday blues. Because this year our holidays look a little bit different than normal. And a lot of that is out of my control, and it sucks because it's like relationships that I'm normally used to having around this time, and so I feel like at a loss because it's not the same, and it sucks because it's out of my hands. And it just like it's something that's been ongoing for a while, but it just like hit me now that it's like, oh, shit's different now. And it sucks because it's like, oh, like I didn't I'm gonna cry because it really affects me.
Yeah.
Because like normally I will have Christmas presents and everything ready and wrapped by now. Like everything's already done. But like it's different this year, and so I'm definitely feeling it because I'm like, dude, I haven't even done any. Like this past weekend is when I started to do some of my shopping, but I was like, that's what it is that it's like, oh shit's different, and it's out of my control, and it just sucks. So that's a challenge that I've been dealing with because it's just like, okay, so. But this weekend, again, we're in December, guys. This weekend we're going to the family Christmas party. So I know my Aguilar side of the family was last week on Saturday. Which I do miss going to these kinds of things, but it's like I can only handle so much. But yeah. So that's my challenge. What about you guys?
I guess I'll go next because mine's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Just like some issues going on between like me and the family. They've gotten a little bit better. Communication opened up and just talking about like what the issues are, and but it's still not completely smooth over, I guess you can say. Like we haven't. There's still like some things that are being swept under the rug.
Yeah.
In a way, right? And I'm just trying to figure that part out. I'm still debating like if I'm going to the Christmas party or not. Right now I'm at no, just because there's, like we're talking about toxic relationships, we gotta fix them, right?
Yeah.
Or else like you don't feel safe, like not saying physically, right, but just emotionally.
Yeah.
And working with that, and I also like I just feel like I'm on a roll right now, like with my physical part, like because I said I'm gonna like, what did I say I was gonna do? I was gonna concentrate on that this year. My year
on you,
level 44, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if I go, I'm gonna I have to start over again when I come back.
Yeah.
And that's so hard to restart. And it's just like, fuck, I don't even have to restart it again.
Yeah.
And it's just something I'm thinking about. It's not just that, right? It's not just like the issues that are going on. It's also like for myself, putting myself first. And that's still something I'll probably decide by Wednesday. But I hate doing this because it feels like I'm putting some people, holding them up for ransom in a way.
Mhm.
But it's also my mental health, right?
Yeah.
It's not just
You're just learning how to set these boundaries. So it's new to you, and it's definitely new to everybody around you.
yeah.
But I'm proud of you for even, putting yourself first, because that's important. And if
Mhm.
people really do care about you and your growth, like even with Peter saying, that he's proud of you and stuff like that, then they'll respect it.
Yeah.
And if not, then they have to get used to it, because for me, you're only going up. You're only growing more from here.
Thank
You're
you.
just learning. So
Yes.
it's a hard decision, and I get it,
Mhm.
because it's funny, because I would have thought that both of you guys would have been going and not me, right? And I'm the one that's going and not you guys,
Yeah.
It's
Like,
so true.
even, one of the episodes I was like, well, I don't be going, but this year I'm going, and my whole family is going. So that, there's that. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But
And the other side of me is also like I want to see like all the kids, and Mariah is coming into town. So
hi, Mariah.
oh.
Our weekly
Our weekly shout out to Mariah. So we'll see. I'm still right now. I'm like I'm 75% sure I'm not gonna go.
Yeah. Good for you.
I think once you make that decision, it'll be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hanging in there.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It's a lot to travel, especially if you travel alone. Like, it's a lot. Like, even my original plans were to go on my own, and then it ended up that my whole family was going, so we were going together. But even like going over there, and the drive is long. Like, normally when I drive to California, I'm only going to my best friend's house, and that's not even down
The
Cajon
hill.
Pass.
Yeah.
I don't even have to go past that. So, but it's a lot. Like, it's exhausting to drive all the way down there, sit in traffic when we're not used to traffic here. So I get it.
Yeah, because it feels like you lose a day each way.
Yeah.
And
So
then, because then you have to recover.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's being in the car that long. It sucks.
Yep. What about you, Lisa?
Well, Mom, not to piggyback, but to piggyback off of you guys. I have been struggling with it because I do love going to the family parties and just seeing my daughter experience everything, and just be a kid, and be with the cousins, and like, it's such a cool thing to see. But my daughter has volleyball. She has her volleyball tournament this weekend, and we had it last weekend as well, which was the Aguilar party. And then so we couldn't go to that one either, and I really, really wanted we both wanted to go to that one, but we both she committed to this, and she said she was gonna do this, and I was kind of struggling. I'm like, I can miss a game, but it kind of like shocked me when I was like, kind of debating everything, because I'm like, no, I can't do this. Like, I did this for years in the military with her, where I put everything else before her, right? And and not that she remembers that, or she puts that in, it's just me, like something internally that I'm like struggling with. And it sucks because I want to go, and I know she wants to go too, but we committed to this, and we're gonna do this, and and so I'm not going. Sorry. It's so fun. It's so fun. I feel like a kid when I go.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Olivia. Like, last year we did like snow. It was snowing, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember, it was like snowing from the
from the
patio
top.
or whatever, huh? Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
You'll have fun.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For sure.
I'm excited. I know. By the time this airs, it'll have already happened. But my plan was to bring one of our shirts as a white elephant. So we'll see how that goes. And I'll post a video or something. You guys have already seen this, but
Or somebody can be wearing it right now.
right? If you won.
Yeah.
Send us a picture.
Shout out.
All right, let's get into toxic relationships. So toxic, what is a toxic relationship? Toxic relationships tend to exhibit a pattern of negativity where at least one partner causes harm in some way. Whether purposeful or not, sometimes that is intentional abuse in a relationship or manipulative behaviors that can leave one partner feeling trapped or burned out on the relationship. It's possible these behaviors were learned in childhood or experienced as an adult, and the expectation of any other behavior has not been established. Hmm. Let's see. So, I think it's important just to like, it's not only with like romance
I was gonna say that.
relationships,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but like in any kind of
Yeah.
relationship with like family or friends and stuff like that. Because I do think that there are like Peter was saying, like givers and he
Yeah,
was
there's
saying
givers and
like
takers.
takers,
Yeah.
and there's definitely a lot of people who are takers, and then on the other end is people who may not even realize that these people are takers, or one person is a people pleaser and the other one is too like scared or too like to say anything, to
Yeah.
stand up for themselves. And a lot of times people are predatory in that way where they like know you're not going to say anything, so they're going to get away with it. And it's like, yeah, it's true. Like I have had toxic like friendships,
Mhm.
or even relationships, of course, and I've been
Yeah.
the toxic one
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
But and I do want to bring up the point that as I want to feel like in the past couple of years, the whole toxica toxico culture Latino thing, it was like a funny cool thing, right? To be
Yeah.
la toxica.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
To work on yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Hey,
you
real,
gonna
real
get
quick, real quick. The other day, I was gonna go pick up your daughter from school. You
Mhm.
you asked me to pick her up, and I got behind a car, and the license plate was Toxica.
No way.
I put up.
I think I've seen that
I
car
put up-
before.
It's a blue BMW.
Oh
I
my
want to
god.
say,
Mhm.
and I was just busting up, and I was like, I made fun of it, of course. Like you said,
Mhm,
I was
yeah.
like, I found my one. I found the one.
But I get what it's saying where it's
Yeah.
like the behaviors learned in childhood, because it's like if you
Mhm.
grow up in a house where toxic behavior is normal,
Oh,
of course
yeah.
you're going to exude that.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to look for somebody who
Mhm.
is the same way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like it's just like abuse, intentional abuse and
Mhm.
manipulative behaviors, because I know somebody whose parents were like that, manipulative, and then in turn they were manipulative to their partner, and it's like
Mm.
no wonder it's learned
Yeah, it's a
behavior.
cycle.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Passed down.
crazy.
Mhm.
Exactly,
Yeah.
toxicity
Well,
is
that's because
passed down.
that's what you see,
That's
and
what
that's
you
what you're
see.
taught, and that's what you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
So that the book that I read,
Uh-huh.
it's the one "How to Do the Work" by Nicole Perella.
Mhm.
I'll say. I'll put it up again. She talks about how when you grow up in like in a toxic environment,
Mhm.
and when you grow up, your body seeks that. I think I might have mentioned it before. Your
Mhm.
body seeks that because you're
Mhm.
so used to that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the
So
chaos.
yeah, so it
Mhm.
feels like when you're toxic, you kind of attract the toxicity
Mhm.
also
Mhm.
because you're so
Mhm.
used to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's all like a feeding thing. Like you feed into it, and you
Yeah,
both
you
are
Yeah.
like,
do.
ah, it's
Yeah.
until
Mhm.
someone like, nope,
Mhm.
it goes
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think like
Crazy.
the healers attract to each other too? Is that something now too?
I definitely think once you start healing, you start seeing more red flags and you start to steer away from toxic behavior. Whereas before, you would have not either realized it or you would have looked the other way.
Yes,
Mhm.
agree.
You allowed more. You allowed
Yeah.
more. And now it's like, well, you're healing
Uh-huh.
and you're valuing yourself, where it's like now you're
Yeah.
not putting up with that shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your value went up.
Yeah.
So,
The price went up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here are 22 signs of potentially toxic relationship. Number 1, you feel disrespected.
Well,
Mhm.
I think that's
Mhm.
safe to say.
Yeah, definitely. Number 2, your needs are not met. Number 3, you both have a hard time communicating. So that one,
Oh my gosh.
that's how my relationship with Fernando started. Like, he was like, you don't know how to communicate. Like, you just shut down. And I still have moments where I shut down, where I'm like, no, like, I don't want to talk, or or nothing's wrong with me. That's my like go-to is like, nothing is wrong. Or, why do you have an attitude? I don't. I don't.
What attitude?
What attitude, right? And it's like, no, we can talk about things,
Yeah.
And I feel like in the Latino community, we're taught not to talk about our feelings. So then when you come
Nope.
across somebody who knows how to communicate and was taught to communicate, it's almost like you're being combative and you're feeling defensive. And it's like, I'm literally asking you, well, how come you do it that way? And it's not because I'm questioning why you're doing it, but maybe you have a better way of doing it, And so that's why I'm like, okay, communication was definitely a thing that I've had to work on. And then, like, even with like love languages, right? You both speak 2 different languages as to what love is, and so you have to figure out how to be able to give each other the love that you need. But also, like, you need to realize that's how that person loves, so you have to in turn, like, learn to be loved that way too, right? Because you can't change somebody. They have to change, you guys have to adjust to each other. But yeah, big time communication. You don't feel free to live your life autonomously.
I think that's just a kind of a Latino culture kind of thing too, right? Where we live for the group, not is that what autonomous?
Yeah, like
you're
you
for
have,
yourself, right?
yes, for yourself. So like, you don't feel free to live your life autonomously.
Like, you always have to almost ask for permission from somebody, like to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, even when you're older, like, you feel like even if you don't, like, there's a guilt.
feel
Like,
guilt,
yeah,
yeah.
like, I have to do this. Like, I have to ask my mom, my dad, my sister, or somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because a lot of us were raised that way,
Yeah.
You have to ask for permission and stuff like that. I tried to make a point to say, like, instead of saying I gotta ask, like, I have to talk to them about this, or I need to, because it's like, this person is not seeking me to ask for permission. It's just even the way that I word it, because then it's like, well, why do you have to ask for permission? And it's like, no, I just have to consult. Like, I have to communicate with my partner that this is okay. I can't just show up with 30 dogs, right? I mean, I could, but like, I have to be like, hey, is it cool if we do this? Is this something that we can do? It's not like a, hey, can I do this kind of thing. I think that's the way I take autonomy. You give more than you get.
Oh, yeah.
I think that goes into givers and takers for
Yeah.
sure. Big
I
time.
feel like not just like giving with like physical stuff or anything like that. It's emotion wise too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's energy zappers and there's energy givers.
Yeah.
There's
definitely.
people that, like, when they walk into the room, you just
You already know.
Yeah.
The conversation's
Yes.
just draining, and
And
it's
there's-
like, okay.
right.
Yeah.
And there's people that come in, you're just like, oh, right, like I can feed off their energy.
Yeah. That's funny. That's how one of the ladies, my homegirl at work, is. She's like the sunshine of the office. And then there's another lady that we used to work with, and she would come in and she'd be like, ugh.
Oh no.
And then don't nobody ask her what's wrong or is she okay, because then she's like, and it's always the same things, and it's like, well, change it, like. And it's almost like, oh, now you're just bringing down the room because you're like, no, and then nobody wants to ask her what's wrong anymore because she's always like that, and it's like, ugh. But yeah, I definitely
energy vampires. That's what I call them.
Energy vampires.
Yes, they just suck the life out of you. Like, what the heck?
Number 6, you don't feel valued.
Oh.
I think that's important. I definitely, looking back on past relationships, like, because I was trying to fill a void within myself, I like would give and give and give to people, and I definitely wasn't valued and it wasn't reciprocated. Where it was like, I would go out of my way to do things for people, and it was like, but it was just me trying to, I should have been putting that energy into myself, basically. You find yourself wondering if you like him or the attention, or if you like her or just the attention.
Um,
That's interesting.
Mm.
If you like them or just the attention. I mean, but if you wanted attention, you just get attention from anywhere,
Yeah.
really. Especially now with social media. You resent your partner.
Ooh.
Number 9. One or both of you are passive
Oh,
aggressive.
I hate passive aggressiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's just
Mhm.
tell me fuck off if you're gonna, you know what I mean? Instead of
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, just tell
be
me.
honest.
Don't like beat around the bush. Just
That's
yeah,
funny.
that's annoying.
10. Your self-esteem is deteriorating.
Oof.
11.
That's happened to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, where I'm just like, not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, that's a shitty feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine. You feel attacked and unsupported.
Yes, that's happened to me recently
Yeah?
Mhm.
Mm.
with family, and it just, I felt shitty. Like I felt really shitty for like a good few days, and
Mm.
it's like,
Mhm.
man, it was like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was being attacked,
Yeah.
like, and unsupported, both of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a bit to get over it.
Yeah.
I'm still not exactly over it, but
Well,
Yeah.
because it still hurts. It's gonna
yeah,
always hurt.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that will ever go away, but I think it's more of like you've grown past it,
yeah.
But the whole like, hey, that hurt my feelings, like I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 12. Your sleeping and eating patterns have changed, like engaging in revenge bedtime procrastination because you don't get enough time to yourself during the day.
Mm,
Eating a pattern change.
Yep. Yeah, all day, every day, all night.
13. You feel depressed or anxious.
Yeah.
Definitely. You bring out the bad qualities in one another. Oh yeah, that one. You feel like you walk on eggshells around your partner. Your feelings come second to theirs, the sign of a codependent relationship.
Ooh.
You feel gaslighted and manipulated.
Ooh.
18. You don't feel your best emotionally or mentally around them. 19. You feel alone in the relationship when you're together.
Yeesh.
20. You feel there is a lack of trust and excess jealousy. You feel responsible for their happiness.
Oof.
That's interesting. And then the last one says you are being abused physically, emotionally, mentally, or sexually. Are there any of these that stood out to you guys, like in past relationships?
Well, it's funny because like in previous relationships, it was like both of us were like this, right? And it was
Mhm.
always like him or me or whatever, right? And then it was like until I worked on myself and I accepted and I adjusted all these things were I feel like you're reading my story, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
I did disrespect him. I was, like it was mostly my needs that wanted to be met.
Mhm.
Um it was very hard time communicating. Like we didn't even communicate. And it was like
Mm.
how are you not reading my mind? Like how do you not know? Like
Mhm.
stupid stuff. And it was until like I'm like, holy shit, like they really can't read my brain. And it's like,
Mhm.
come on, you need
Yeah.
to look at yourself and like, fix yourself or,
Yeah.
do this
Mhm.
before you get in a relationship. Because once you pass this within yourself,
Mhm.
you're like in the best relationship ever. And that's how I feel right now
Mhm.
Mhm.
because I feel respected and he feels respected. Like
Mhm.
it's both mutual, but because we both worked on each other. But
Mhm.
reading these things, yes, I was that person. I was
Mhm.
horrible. Like I was mean. I was,
Mhm.
like I feel so like disgusted with myself
Mhm.
because like I could how could I do this to somebody? How can
Mhm.
I put someone through this? And at the time, it was like all like they're doing it to me. It
Mm.
was all they're doing it to me. But until you like see yourself internally and you
Mhm.
like, you respect yourself,
Yeah.
you do
Mhm.
these things for yourself,
Mhm.
everybody else is like, it's always going to be hard,
Mhm.
really
Mm.
hard, because it's, I don't know, it needs to be both ways,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Both
for
people,
sure.
both people need to work on themselves
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
sure. If it's
Yeah.
not, if one doesn't, then there's no point to it.
Yeah.
Well, no,
It's
because then
gonna
you get
be,
tired of it and you don't want to do that
yeah.
anymore, and you're like,
Mhm.
why?
Hmm.
Why am I going to be miserable? Why am I going to like,
And
no,
there's so many people that are out there that they break up with somebody and they just go to the next person and take
Mhm.
their toxicity
Oh
with
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Mhm.
give yourself a break.
Uh-huh.
Learn to respect yourself, love
Yeah.
yourself, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't do that, and that's why it's
Uh-huh.
so. I think that's why it's so hard to date right now. Like it's just
Uh-huh.
the
Mhm.
Yeah.
recycling of toxicity just out
Yes.
there,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
it's like, man, like if everybody just took a time out
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and worked on
know.
themselves,
Mhm.
and it's hard,
Yeah.
It is hard.
For
but
It's
sure.
hard. There's still a lot of things that I need to work on. Like there's still some of these things that I like at the beginning of my relationship, I would jab at things. Like I
mm,
would get you before you would get me. And a lot of that had to do with a lot of the hurt that I felt in one in my trauma and two in relationships that I've had in the past where it's like I would give and get nothing back. And in this relationship, I get everything. And I still carry that mindset of you fucked me over and it's like, but
mm,
no, this person did not fuck you over. Like this person
Mhm.
gives you the world in like there's times where I'm mean and it's like, but
mm,
why? And it's like you still have work to do. Like our relationship started off crazy as fuck. I'll tell you that right now. But it's because we both needed to work on ourselves. And there's been times where it's like, where we're like, what are we doing? Like, why are we together? And we're like, no, we're together because we were able to work. Because had we not been with each other, like,
mm,
who would have put up with their shit before? And because we went through the trenches together, I think that's
mm,
why now we work.
mm,
Um,
And you guys want to work,
mm-hmm.
because you
Yeah.
still have to have that too. You
mm,
still
Yeah.
have to have that
Uh-huh.
urge to want to be with that person, because
Yeah.
just because you guys both, no, I'm not saying you,
No, no, no.
but
I
I'm just
know.
saying like both of you guys have like worked on each other, but that's when you guys like, that's when it's really good when it's dating, because you can
Mm-hmm.
see those things and you're like, no, no thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not gonna go through that again. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, like here, I came into this relationship defensive and combative because I was like, nobody fought for me when I needed to be fought for. And so now I'm gonna fight the world. And it's like, mm, my relationship is my world. So why the fuck am I fighting my relationship
mm,
when I have it good now? Like I went through all that shit and all the
mm,
the assholes that I dated and the people that were takers and people that were what are some of these things? Like even the ex's jealousy. Like I had nothing to be jealous about or anything to be suspicious about in my relationship, but I would still carry that mindset of
mm,
all the people that I've dated before cheated or were sneaky
mhm,
and all this shit.
mm,
And it's like, no, you can't bring the bricks over from the
mm,
past. Like you got to start
mm,
fresh. And so I'm like, I still have some toxic behaviors in me
mm.
that I need to work on. And so it's a journey. Like it's something
Yeah.
that I still have to work on. And it's like,
yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying that I'm healed, that I'm perfect
Mhm.
and my relationship is perfect. Cause it's not,
Mm.
that's not realistic to
No.
say,
Yeah.
shit does hit the fan sometimes.
Mhm,
And it's like, ugh.
mhm,
But I know for a fact that I'm not as bad as I used to be because I've done work. I still have
Mhm.
more work to do, but I'm glad that I'm able to see that where it's like, okay, that wasn't okay to say, and it's like,
Mm.
when you fuck up, it's
mhm,
okay to fuck up because that's
Mhm.
another thing is
We're
that I was
human.
always scared to
mhm,
fuck up in
mhm,
life and anything. So then I would be like, no, that's not what happened. I didn't do that. Even like at work, I'd be like, no, that's not what happened,
Mhm.
like back in the day. And it's like, just say what it is. It's okay.
Mm.
And that's what Fernando has taught me. Like, it's okay to fuck up, but say I fucked up and then fix it or figure out how to not fuck up again.
Mhm.
And that's something that I'm like, okay, it's okay to be like, you know what, I don't understand this. Can you explain this to me? Without, because I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of times I've stood quiet because I didn't want to feel dumb.
Mm.
And I let that like eat at me because it was like, if you just would have asked, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's okay to not know things and ask for help. That's another thing is like, I don't ask for help. And then it's just like a big like tornado, like it's like, and it's like,
Mhm.
I didn't ask for help. And now it's like, you know, like, so I'm trying to be less toxic.
It's hard.
It is
It's
hard.
really hard.
It's hard.
And it's I think it's gonna be work like everything else, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you know, we're human, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
fuck them, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that we're admitting like we've
Yeah.
been
Oh my
toxic,
God,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Like I'm there's times where I'm like, that was mean. You didn't need to say that,
Yeah.
you know? And then one thing that full transparency, Fernando would be like, why were you so mean? Like, and then I'm like, shit, that was mean. And I'm sorry, you know? Like, but then at some point, I'm sorry is like, it's just a word. Like, it doesn't mean anything if you don't change behavior. Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't mean anything without changed behavior.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. So I'm working on it. I'm working on myself. I'm
Mhm.
trying this new therapy. And it's like I've said before, it's unleashing a lot of emotions that I didn't know. I swear I cry like every time.
Oh shoot.
And I'm like, where did all of this come from? Like, it's still there. And it's like, shit, the flame was still ignited. And I thought it was not, you know? But it's like, now I'm dealing with my actual, like, suppressed emotions that it's like, oh shit, you know? Like, I thought we were done. And we're not. Because I literally cry every time we have these therapy sessions. And I'm like, dang.
Like we say, we're never healed. We're just healing.
It's always like it's a journey. It's a marathon. It's an ongoing thing. Yep. What about you guys? Or what about you, Renee?
About being toxic? Oh,
Yeah.
I've been toxic.
Yeah. Do you guys have any good stories?
What do you mean good
What do you mean
stories?
good story?
Like of stuff that you guys have done in the past that you're like, damn, that was mean, or damn, that was fucked up, or that was
Cheating on Marilyn. I cheated on her. And something I can never take back. And I'm so sorry for, but yeah, like, and I would do all that stuff to her, like gaslight her and all kinds of stuff. And man, I look back at it and I'm like, fuck, that was fucked up, but there's nothing I can do anymore, right? Like, even if I have apologized to her, but it doesn't mean anything, right? It's done.
Yeah. But even getting an apology from somebody who's been toxic, it does something to you where it's like, because that's happened to me where I've gotten an apology and I was like, dude, like I gave you everything and you just, you know, it was like you still wanted to be a player and you still wanted to do things. And it's like, and then the next person you ended up marrying and it was like, what the hell? You know, I always said that I was good luck Chuck because
Me too. I said I'm good luck Chuck too also.
oh my god. And I
Totally
see
say
this thing
that.
that's like I'm a foster girlfriend. I foster men until they're ready to get married. And I was like, dude, that was me. Like good luck Chuck.
Like that was
it would be like whoever I was like
Rene.
dating.
Good luck Rene.
Rene. Rene. Yeah, where it was like, I like even one of them, like we weren't like officially a couple, but we did everything couple.
Yeah.
And then it was like the next one was the one that they ended up marrying, or the next one would end up the one that was their real girlfriend, you know, that they would post and stuff like that, and like on social media, and I was like, ew, I'm good luck Chuck, but I was good luck Chuck because I allowed that shit, right?
Yes,
Because
true.
I allowed it.
Yeah.
I allowed that shit to happen,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, shoot. The last time, okay? But
Good
yeah,
luck, Chuck.
for real. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's a movie, basically.
Yeah. The movie
Basically-
with is it not Ryan Reynolds? It's
Is
forgot
it
his
Dane
name.
Cook?
Dane Cook, yeah.
Yeah. He hooks up with woman, and then the next person that they are with, they end up marrying the woman. So that's why they call him Good Luck Chuck. But yeah, that was
Oh
me.
my gosh.
1,000%, that was me.
Yeah.
But that also was because I allowed it. Like,
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
And I know that I allowed it because I was just looking for that I don't know if it's validation, but I was looking to fill that hole again. Like I put up with so much shit that it was like, girl, if you just would have focused on, if you would have gone to therapy, oh my God.
I know, so much time wasted, huh?
Uh-huh.
You're like,
oh my God,
dang.
you got the good years. Yeah. Oh man. Do I have a toxic story? Let me think. Dang. Very much toxic.
You?
I know. Now I'm trying to think. I know I was really bad at passive aggressive. I used to do that shit all the time, and now if I see it like it being done, like it really, really, really makes me angry because I know I did that shit. I would. I would just say something like, "Oh, okay, like the dishes are gonna wash themselves," like stupid shit like that. That I'm just like, bitch, shut up. Like just shut up, do it. If you don't like it, do it. Like I mean, it's been a lot of work, but it's just little things like that that I'm like, I need to check myself.
I 100%, I 100% agree. Like that's me. There's times where I'm like, just shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. There's no reason to make these comments. Like even on this trip, I made a comment that I didn't need to make, like that I didn't need to repeat, and it ruined the whole fucking day. And I felt bad later. I was like, why you gotta open up your fucking mouth? Like, just shut up. Like, just shut your trap. Like, there's no reason for you to be so mean. Like, yeah. And yeah, that definitely is like.
That's how I know therapy works.
Yeah.
Because now I won't say
do
it.
that anymore either.
I won't say. I'll watch what I'm gonna say. I'll breathe. I'll give it time, and then I'll respond. And it's a whole different.
It is.
It's a whole different.
It is. Yeah. Because there's times where I'm like, I could have said this, but I'm not. But then sometimes one slips out, and I'm like, shit. Why did you do that? Shut up. Why?
Why text that? Shit. Can't get that back.
And that's what I need to start telling myself. Like, did that make you feel better? Now you're in a worse, now you're hurt. And now, now he's hurt. Now you're mad. Now that, like, did that really make you feel better? Like, oh, no.
You know what's my least passive aggressive thing? Is a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I used to do?
But it's hard. That's hard though, because for work we have that
up.
too.
Oh no!
But we're like, ooh, like some of us are like, ooh, I don't mean it. Like I really mean it. Like good job,
Oh, that's funny.
That thumbs up. It drives me crazy.
I used to when I would be like arguing with somebody like in the past, I would, because iPhone, it would tell you like when they're typing like a little bubble, so I would be like, and I know you were we were together one time when I did it, you're like, that's hilarious. I would like type delete.
So it's the little thing is going crazy, huh?
And then I would be like delete, and then I would just write K.
The K too. Thumbs up and the K are like oh my god.
Yeah.
After like thinking I was gonna write a whole paragraph, and then I would just write K. And
that's
then
diabolical, Candy.
I was like, that's what you get. But yeah, that's some of my toxic behavior.
Gosh.
What else? One time I pulled up on somebody, like, we were like not official, whatever. And then I was like, I'm gonna pull up. You're not answering my phone calls. I'm gonna pull up and see what happens.
Shit.
And I was like, oh my god. I was like, girl, you look like on Friday when she pulled up with Day. Like, I was like, oh, what am I doing? And I was like, no, exactly. Yeah. But I was like, oh my god.
Was it also because we were younger and had so much energy? And now like we're a little older and just like, I don't have the energy for that. Pull up to somebody's house like that.
Oh, I know, right? I've pulled up at people's houses like twice at least, and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Now I'm like, hi.
Yeah.
That person was not even worth it. What are you doing? Why did you pull up? Yeah, I've done that.
And were they with somebody?
One time here we go.
Here it is. Let's go.
One time I pulled up to his house. And then this other time was like in high school. I pulled up to the chick's house and knocked at the door, and was like, "Yeah, I was crazy. I'm telling y'all, I like knocked on the door. That's how. Yeah. So
Her mom's house? Like it was her mom's house.
no, we were in high school. We were in high
You
school.
went to somebody's mom's house.
Yeah, that's where she lived.
Yeah.
We were in high school. Yeah, I remember. I knocked on the door, and yeah,
It
and
just
I was
sounds
like,
funnier when you're like, you went to somebody's mama's house.
I did, and not her mom answered, but she answered.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's why I'm like, dang, you're crazy. Like, I know that I'm like my actions are crazy, but yes, I was crazy. Where it was like, get it through your head, terca, like stubborn ass, like
Yeah.
get it. Like they're not you're like. You're not worthy to them. Like, you have no worth to them. Like, put that effort into yourself. Like, okay, show up for yourself the way I showed up to that house. Okay.
And it's funny, like if you're.
Oh my god.
I'm here every Monday night, guys.
Oh my god.
Wait, what was it?
Show up for yourself the way I showed up to that girl's house.
Oh my god, I love that.
Man. Sorry, Rene, what were you saying? It's hot here
I was
now.
literally gonna say that we're toxic, being toxic to other people. You're toxic to yourself, essentially, too.
Yes, definitely.
Sure.
Exactly
Yeah.
like that.
Exactly. Like, why can't I show up for myself? Yeah.
Oh
It's
shit.
so funny. I feel like gaslighted and manipulated. I feel like that those are definitely gaslight is a newer term.
New term, yeah.
And manipulated.
How would you
yeah.
describe being gaslit? How would you describe that?
Like you're making the other person feel crazy for
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
for basically
That
feelings.
it
Is
is really going
happening.
yeah,
on. but
feelings
you,
are
yeah.
valid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like you turn it into
Yeah.
like you made me cheat on her, like that kind of thing.
Oh.
Like, no, you
Yeah.
made me do that because
Yeah.
you were acting this way.
Yeah. You
kinda
you
thing.
pushed me to it. You know.
Mm-mm.
You.
I think I did use that with Marilyn.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Terrible.
Mm,
Well, hey, we learned, right?
Yeah.
Live and we learn.
yeah, definitely. Disrespected. Let's see. Do you guys have any toxic outside of romance relationships that you no longer have? Like you cut ties with people because they were toxic?
Mm,
I don't know about cut ties. Maybe just
Set boundaries?
yeah, I would
Set
say some
boundaries for
boundaries.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Set boundaries,
Yeah.
and then sometimes when you do that, they automatically cut themselves out. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I seen this meme that was like, I'll cut anybody out of my life. Just ask my ex sister, ex cousin, ex auntie. I was like, that's me. I will 1000% cut you out of my life. Block you on everything. I don't care.
I've done that. Yeah, recently, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
There's this. I think it was either Braving the Wilderness or I don't remember what book it was, but it was from Brene Brown, and she was very like in her book she tells you like how like stand up for yourself and all this stuff,
Mhm.
but then it's like, but also like be aware that people aren't taught to be perfect people.
Mhm.
They're not even taught to be people.
Mhm.
People aren't even taught to like tie their shoes.
Mhm.
Some people aren't like, they don't have that,
The
right?
skills
Yeah.
to
So
Mhm.
when they
people.
go into a
Yeah.
relationship, they're
Oh
going
my
with someone that
gosh.
has like no idea how to take care of themselves. How are they going
Mhm.
to take care of somebody else?
That's
Like,
true.
and this book, like, kind of, it did make me like slow my roll,
Mhm.
because I was very like, 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 come on, everybody. Like, I wanted everybody to be like, we don't have to be toxic, da, 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 right? And then it's just like, well, hold up. Like, they're not toxic on purpose. They don't know,
Yeah.
and one thing that I did kind of see now that I'm talking about this with my daughter is that, I hear her little conversations and stuff that she has with
Mhm.
boys or boyfriends or whatever.
Mhm.
And, and sometimes they're like literally on like FaceTime or whatever it is, like on the background, and they're doing their own thing, but they're just like on the background. And I'll walk in and I'm talking to her, and she's like, "Mom, I'm on the phone," and I'm like, well, why? And she's just like, well, because we want to make sure we don't miss anything during the day. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We are not doing this. Like, and she's like, well, he wants to know where, what I'm doing and stuff. I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, this is one form, and the kid will still be on the phone. I was like, this is one form of control. Like, you guys need to like go take a break, go outside, go do whatever, and they're like, hey, mom is so mean, and, like she always getting stuff told, but yeah, but I'm like, no, I was like,
wow.
you're not learning this shit,
No.
like you're not, no.
Damn.
So it's everywhere.
That's crazy. Dang. Starting out early.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah. I definitely was in some toxic relationships back in the day, and I definitely was toxic back in the day.
I'm guilty of both.
Definitely guilty of both, but I really feel like I was really, it was more me, I think. And I think because it was the example that I had growing up it was really bad. I had a really bad example. Like, my parents stuck it out and they were together, and I don't think they actually really, really fell in love until they were older. Like, when we were like adults, like later, like it's just different, like I mean, at least for my parents, it was different. They didn't express love. They didn't, it wasn't like that at all. So I remember my dad, he would like gaslight my mom all the time, and he made her think that she was crazy, for thinking of all this stuff that, she thought she was seeing. And it's like, no, motherfucker, like, I can see that shit too, like, it's not, you're not just doing it to her,
doing it to the family.
Yeah. And it's just a lot of little things like that I'm like, well, fuck, I did that too. But I'm like, well, that was my example. Like, that's what I knew. I like, you start a fight so you can go out. Things like that I'm like,
oh shit. Oh fuck. I've done that too. I did that too.
I did that my dad just shit all the time. All the time. Dang. We're like ready to go somewhere, and then he's like, and we're like, what the fuck? And he's out, and we're like, oh man, we're not going, or whatever, all the time, all the time. But you just have to cut it.
Damn,
that's crazy.
I learned that from then. From my parents. My parents were pretty good with, like, relationship wise. Like,
I think like as when you grow up, all the environment you're in, and
probably.
Well, like a lot of. So, you know how Peter was talking about his dad fighting and everything like that? So, there's like distinct memories I have of my dad being that way, where my dad would like fight everybody. And it's my sister Melissa would tell me, like, yeah, you don't remember this? And I'm like, no, I don't remember that. And she's like, yeah, he would do this and he would do that. So like, I'm like, I blocked out, like, there's so much that, and I'm, like I've said before, I'm scared to go there in therapy, so I know that's coming up. But like, when you're saying like you learn this, and I'm like, yeah, like there's times where in life where I'm like, oh, I wanted to fight people because whatever, and I was like, well, that's where I get it from, like, if you want to fight people, and now he's like the opposite, right? And I'm like, okay, the grandkids have no idea about what it was like, and like I have partial idea. Yeah, partial. He's not. Like, day and night, my dad. Yeah. I know. Off topic, my dad retired, and I'm so happy for him. I know. I bought him a cake today. Yeah. Happy retirement cake. I know.
Oh, and thank you for my birthday cake.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you guys for dinner, and for meeting up for some drinks.
You're welcome.
Or for me for some drinks.
And speaking about your dad, really quick. The other day I was saying bye to him. We're at your house. I don't remember what it was for, but or at your parents' house. And I was saying bye to him, and I was like, bye, Theo. And I was like, I love you. He's like, oh, I love you too, mija. And I was like, yes. I was like, did anybody hear that? I was like, oh my god, I have to tell somebody.
No one heard.
Never. No, and that's something new, because like in like the past couple of years, he started to tell us that he loves us. And he never used to, like, he would hug us and stuff like that. We would know that. And like but he would never tell us he loved us like that. And I know a lot of that has to do with their upbringing, because their upbringing was not great. And like the opposite, my mom always tells me she loves me, and I always hug my mom. And like, so when he started to do it, I was like, what? He just said I love you, like that was,
Yeah.
And like what I've started to do is, like, with the tias and the tios, is I started to say I love you to them. And like at first they're like, what? Oh, thank you. Or, like whatever, and that, a lot of that has to do with, I'm not gonna cry. My tia Lucy's passing, because when we lost my tia Lucy, it was like, damn, you never know, like, and even with your dad too. But like, my tia Lucy's passing, like, hit us hard, because we used to spend summers with her. Like, she used to watch us. So I'm like, it's important to tell the people that you love them, because you never know, And then especially like with my parents' accident and stuff like that, that definitely was like, shit, you need to tell people you love them when you have them here, because you never know. So totally off topic, but but yeah, the fact that you're saying that, that learned behavior from your dad is it's like, oh shit, you're right. You carry stuff from your upbringing to your own relationships, to your own life. And it's like, shit. Like, and like, even, and just like in the opposite of toxicity. Well, I don't know, maybe it is toxic. Like, my dad would always bring my mom flowers, right? And then like when me and Fernando got together, in like one year, it was my birthday or our anniversary, and he didn't bring me no flowers. I'm like, where the hell are my flowers at? And he was like, what do you mean? Like, I got you the, whatever. But yeah, I would get upset that I didn't get flowers, because that's how I perceived love. Like, my dad would bring my mom freeway flowers every Friday. And I was like, well, where the hell are my flowers? Now, I do be getting freeway flowers when there's people on the freeway sometimes. He'll come home with flowers. I'm like, okay. But yeah, because even my mother-in-law was like, did you get her flowers? Because she knew that it was like a big old argument over it. But yeah. Any more toxic stories? No. Okay.
Well, really
quick.
real quick. No.
Hercules.
Speaking of oh my god. Look, okay, my dad was my best friend. Like, my dad was my person, right? Like, we knew each other. Like, if my dad was he was my person, whatever. Up until the very last breath, right? But he was a fucked up husband. Like, he was bad, man. He was bad. Like, he didn't know. He didn't know. He didn't have a childhood. He went through so much that there's no way a person could, like, experience the shit that he went through, like, as a child, as like not being abandoned, like that feeling of your mother not wanting you, like things like that, where he would tell us. And it's crazy, because I just heard something about like carrying on the trauma. So this is something that I have to work out, because my dad couldn't work it out, so I need to work it out.
It's
Because
intergenerational.
it's very, very like real passion. Like, I'm real passionate when I talk about my dad, right? And like the shit he had to go through. So I'm not justifying the shit that he did to my mom, but it was really fucked up. It was really, really fucked up. And I wish that, whatever, it was different. I wish it was different. So for me to share these stories about my dad, it's hard to talk about it, because I feel like I'm talking shit, but I'm not talking shit, because this is my story. This is my experience that I have with him. But that doesn't take anything away from the person that he was, the dad he was, the great man, the hard worker that he was. But the stuff that I saw, he would buy flowers to every woman on earth. But with my mom, he wouldn't buy her flowers.
Mm.
And one time he bought for her flowers and she was like, I don't want this.
Mm.
And I remember seeing that, saying, I don't want this. Like, no, and she never got flowers. Like, never, ever. So for me, like, and I remember her saying something about, like, if you're gonna give me flowers, give them to me when I'm dead. Like, just like, I don't even like want them, right? And there was a couple times that I bought my mom flowers and she was kind of like, and she would just let them die or whatever, it was just not her thing. But I was like, it's not her thing. I need to, like, it's not my thing, it's not her thing, like, whatever, right? So, but I give flowers to, like, everybody, just like, not to my mom, but I'll get her something else or whatever, right? But it's just like that thing that I feel like I need to heal this thing for my dad, because man. So when I get flowers, I feel that guilt. I feel so much guilt, and I've gotten so many cool like bouquets that I'm just like, I don't like, I appreciate them, I do, but I feel like I don't know, I still feel that guilt, like I have that memory of my mom saying that, yeah, it's crazy, but
I think the opposite. I think you should give people their flowers while they're still here, not when they die. Because, and maybe that was something deeper between them that she was like,
yeah.
But have you ever asked her? Have you ever asked her?
I did, and she didn't really want to go into it. And there's certain things that she doesn't. Yeah. She won't go into it, and she doesn't want to. And whatever. I'm not gonna, pressure her or anything like that. Yeah,
definitely.
But it's just it's so interesting. It's really interesting to hear these stories from your parents as adults. Because you can understand them, and you can be like, well, fuck, yeah, like, of course he was like, going after all these women because they were giving him attention, and like, he craved the attention, and it's like, if you put yourself like that, then it's like, you don't make it justifiable, but you just kind of understand it a little bit, and you're not so hard on that part of that memory or whatever.
Yeah, you start to understand them as people and not your parents.
Yeah.
And I think that's why sometimes we need to give them grace, but like also they also need to learn from their actions. Like, it's not okay, we're not children anymore, you can't treat us like children, we're our own adults and we're doing our own healing. And I just think it's cool to see, like, it's cool to be like, oh shit, that's why you are the way you are, and I wish you could have got help, like, and it's like, it definitely makes you see them as more human than like your parents, because there are certain things that they lacked in, but then it's like they didn't know any better, and they only know as much as they were raised in, like my mom, for instance, was saying that, like, at some point Lisa's mom had to cook. Like, she was in charge of cooking for the siblings because abuelita will go to Mexico for a month or two, and so your mom would have to take. And I think a lot of us, of the like younger siblings, don't realize, like my mom, for instance, is like total opposite of like her older siblings because she was taken care of by the older ones, and she was mainly raised here in the US. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things that you guys have experienced or like our older cousins have experienced that I have no idea about, like little things like that. And I'm like, dang, like, they were kids too once, and they were, went through shit too once that maybe they don't even talk about, So
yeah, I think about that too, and I'm like, can you imagine your parents right now at this age, like, and you were however old, like, can you imagine yourself in their position, like, how, like, fucked up it was, like, especially being a woman, like, you didn't have any say in anything. Like, my mom didn't have say in anything, like, my dad was very machismo. Like, he was the epitome
oh my God.
of
Literally,
machismo.
Rene said that.
I said that in the Peter episode.
Oh, okay. I have to go back to that one. But,
I did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, forget about it. He was, Yeah.
Mhm.
And
But you definitely, yeah, you understand them a lot better now,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then as we start to see things in ourselves, our own toxic behavior, we see it in them, and then it kind of makes us understand why. Because, I mean, there's reasons why we became toxic in certain ways or like in our own experiences, and there's reasons why that was a learned behavior for us and probably was a learned behavior for them,
For
you know?
sure.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
We do love our families.
Yeah.
By the
Oh,
way.
100%. And I couldn't have these I couldn't have these
Yeah.
stories or share these things without talking to my mom first. And
Mhm.
and she's very fully aware. She says she doesn't see it. But and
Mhm.
she's fully aware of the conversations that I have, because I've had these conversations with her, and I've
Mhm.
told her, Mom, I didn't know. And she's like, yeah. And we both have these like, oh my God, realizations. And I
Mhm.
asked her, I'm like, hey, do you mind if, I ever talk about this or whatever? And she's like,
Mhm.
yeah. If it's going to help somebody, why not?
Yeah.
And God, and I admire that shit from my mom, because my mom is like the most strongest.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
That could be a whole episode of my mom. But,
I feel like your guys'
yeah.
relationship has gotten
Oh,
closer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
And yeah, because I was my dad's girl,
Yeah.
and I
Mhm.
don't talk about my dad, and
Mhm.
me and her bumped heads, and it
Mhm.
was until we were older that we were able to
Mhm.
build a
That's cool.
relationship and stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm
So,
glad.
oh my gosh, yeah, I love it. It's just fun. It's just so fun.
That's cool. She's out in the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, grandma, like I have the 360 app or whatever
Uh-huh.
that my daughter put on my phone and my mom's phone, and I don't know who else. And so I'll get like notifications every time my mom leaves the house,
Oh,
but
uh-huh.
it's under grandma,
Uh-huh.
and then it has like a little sports car with a little like smoke coming out, so it says
Oh my God.
grandma left the house or whatever.
Oh my
And
God,
it's
how
like,
funny.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, there goes grandma,
Oh my
It's
God.
funny.
That's funny. I'd be checking my parents' location too. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Where y'all at? That's funny, right? Because it's like we become the adults. Like, what are you doing there? That's funny. Oh my gosh. All right, enough about toxic relationships. It's time to get deep.
Deep.
Alrighty, let's do it.
And don't forget to join in on our weekly. We're gonna start sharing these. So
yeah.
Go rate yourself on this.
Go get some
episode.
answers.
Oh
my gosh. Okay. Is there anything you want to do more consistently?
Mm-hmm. Be more active. Definitely. Yeah, like get up. I walked the dogs yesterday. Oh my God, we saw a roadrunner yesterday. It like crossed paths, and I was like, leave it. I had to yell at my dogs to leave it alone. But yeah, definitely be more active. I've been slacking off. Like I said, I've been like in a depressed state, it feels like. So I haven't wanted to do anything. And then like the cold doesn't, like I haven't walked them regularly like I was doing. And I was like,
hard.
I need to get back.
It is.
So now I'm like,
Especially
okay,
now.
maybe I go into work earlier and I get out early so that I can walk them before the sun goes down. That might work. But I was like, yeah, I got to do something. So definitely be more active. Something I want to be more consistent about.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, it's so hard. It's hard because that's my ADHD. I would love to be more consistent on answering my phone, maybe. Checking my phone more often. Fuck, everything. My medication. Well, I've been pretty good on medication. Or else, yeah, you could tell. I think being more organized, I should say. That I need to be more consistent, because I'll have a pattern and I'll be good, and then I'm like, oh, look over here, this is cool.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, no, homegirl, this was your pattern, this was your
Yeah.
thing, and I'm like,
staying on
no,
track.
I need to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So.
I know that. I've seen this thing that it's like when you decide to deep clean your closet, and then you have ADHD and you get distracted by something else, and now all your crap is all over the floor. I was like,
oh my gosh, that was
yeah.
all last week.
Yeah.
I was going through clothes and I was like, oh fuck, and I looked around and I was like, oh, what did I do?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna go take a nap.
Those damn naps. What was the question again?
Is there anything you want to do more consistently?
Work on the editing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on the editing with Fernando now, and
Oh, okay.
I feel like if I don't do it enough, I might lose the skill.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
hard. It's like
Yeah.
There's a lot of
really
things.
hard.
Yeah.
And
little things.
it's a lot of little details, and
Uh-huh.
oh my god, I love it.
Uh-huh.
I love
Yeah.
doing it. I love
Uh-huh.
going to. Yesterday we were all supposed to go, but we both we're both tired.
Yeah.
But just do that a little bit more. Maybe even just do like side projects with anything I can do, and just
Mm-hmm.
work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not the actual podcast, just to work on the skills
Yeah.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that.
Oh.
You're
Mm.
more than welcome to do the short videos
Yeah.
for TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. You could just take over my whole social media.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yep.
Aw,
All right, guys. Share your toxic stories.
Yeah, let us know.
Share them.
Let us
We'll put up a thing.
Yeah.
But we should put up a thing the week before so we
Yeah.
can see what people's toxic
Yeah.
relationship stories are. But thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us. If you are in need of any medical assistance, please contact your local provider. If you are having thoughts of suicide, please call the National Suicide Hotline at 988. In case of emergency, call 911. See you next week as we talk about the things we're not supposed to talk about.